She found out on a Tuesday. Not from him, not from a confession, not from some dramatic argument where the truth finally spilled out. She found out from a photo. A random photo on his phone. And in that 1 second, everything she thought she knew about her relationship, about him, about herself, just collapsed. And the first thing she asked wasn't, "Who is she?" The first thing she asked was, "What is wrong with me?" That question. That one question. That's what I want to talk about today. Because the answer is, absolutely nothing is wrong with you. The problem was never you. The problem is something much deeper. Something that lives inside the psychology of the person who chose to cheat. And today, we're going to go inside that mind. Here's what most people get wrong about cheating. They think it's about attraction. They think it's about opportunity. They think he met someone, he liked her, things happened. But that's the surface. That's the story cheaters tell themselves to sleep at night. The real story is messier. It goes deeper. And it has almost nothing to do with the other woman. Research in relationship psychology suggests that men who cheat consistently, repeatedly, often share certain psychological patterns. Patterns that were there long before they ever met you, long before they ever said, "I love you." This isn't about excusing what they did. Not even close. This is about helping you understand, so you stop carrying blame that was never yours to carry. The first pattern is ego validation. Some men have built their entire sense of self-worth around how desirable they are to women. Not how good of a partner they are. Not how loyal. Not how emotionally present. Just how many women want them. And you might not even notice it at first. He's on his phone a little more, smiling at messages he doesn't explain, enjoying attention he never really turns away from. And when he's in a committed relationship, that source of validation gets limited. Suddenly he feels invisible, unimportant, like he's disappearing. So he looks for it again. A flirty conversation, a new woman showing interest. That small moment where someone new says something nice, and he feels alive again. That rush of "she wants me," it fills something in him that he never learned to fill himself. Psychologists often call this external validation dependency, and it's deeply rooted, usually from early experiences. Absent fathers, emotionally unavailable parents, environments where love felt conditional. He never learned that his worth exists without someone else confirming it. So, he keeps searching. And the woman at home, no matter how beautiful, how loving, how incredible she is, she becomes familiar. And familiar doesn't feed the ego the way new attention does. This is not your failure to be enough. This is his failure to grow up. The second pattern is something therapists see constantly: avoidant attachment. These are the men who pull away when things get emotionally deep, who shut down during conflict, who say, "I'm fine," when they're clearly not. You try to talk. He changes the subject. You ask what's wrong. He says nothing, but something is wrong. And instead of facing it, he distances himself because he doesn't know how to be vulnerable. And vulnerability is the foundation of real intimacy. So when the relationship starts to feel heavy, when real problems show up, when real conversations need to happen, he doesn't lean in, he escapes. And cheating, for him, becomes that escape. A way to feel something, excitement, distraction, a temporary high, without dealing with the discomfort of fixing what's actually broken. He wasn't brave enough to say, "I'm struggling." He wasn't honest enough to say, "Something feels off." Instead, he chose the easier path, and you were left carrying the emotional weight alone. This one is uncomfortable to say, but it's real. Some men cheat because they genuinely believe, on some level, that they're allowed to, not in an obvious, villainous way, but in a quiet, conditioned way. They grew up watching it. A father who did it, friends who joked about it, men who were never held accountable. A culture that subtly told them, boys will be boys, and over time, that becomes a belief, an invisible permission slip, the idea that their desires matter more, that rules somehow don't fully apply to them. You might even see it in small things, the way he justifies behavior, the way he avoids responsibility, the way he lies, calmly, confidently, without breaking eye contact, because in his internal world, he comes first. He always has. And no one ever forced him to question that. And then there's the darkest one. Some men cheat not because they want more, but because they feel nothing. From the outside, everything looks fine. The relationship, the life, the routine. But inside, there's a quiet emptiness, a disconnect they don't understand and don't know how to explain. And instead of facing that emptiness, they run from it. They chase intensity. They chase anything that makes them feel something, even if it's temporary, even if it's destructive. And cheating gives them that, the secrecy, the risk, the adrenaline. For a moment, it cuts through the numbness. For a moment, they feel alive. This is often tied to deeper struggles, depression, unresolved trauma, emotional suppression, men who were never taught how to express pain, how to ask for help, how to sit with their own emotions. But here's what you need to hear. That emptiness inside them is not your responsibility to fill. You are not a therapist. You are not a rescue mission. You are a person who deserved honesty. And they chose deception instead. Now, here's where I want to talk directly to you. If you've been cheated on, or if you're in something right now that feels off, feels dishonest, feels like you're constantly questioning your own reality, stop asking what you did wrong. Start asking what you're willing to accept. Because here's the truth that most people realize too late. People show you who they are, not all at once, but slowly, in patterns, in the small moments they think don't matter. The late replies, the unexplained distance, the subtle dishonesty, the feeling in your gut that something isn't right. The man who cheats usually leaves signs, not because he wants to get caught, but because it's hard to fake consistency forever. You are not too sensitive to noticing. You are not overthinking for questioning. You are not too much for wanting honesty. You were just with someone who didn't know how to be real. There's a version of you on the other side of this. She doesn't shrink herself to keep someone comfortable. She doesn't ignore her instincts to maintain peace. She doesn't beg for clarity where there should already be honesty. She knows her worth, not because someone gave it to her, but because she stopped waiting for someone who couldn't. The people who cheat don't leave because you weren't enough. They leave or they lie because they weren't ready. And that, as painful as it is, was never yours to fix. Sometimes, the most important truth is this: you weren't hard to love. He just didn't know how to love. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for yourself is accept that some people are not capable of the love they promised you. And then, quietly, firmly, choose better.